Hello everybody, welcome back to the Panel by Panel Comics channel with your host Jay. Today is my buy or sell video for the books that I pulled for the week of March 25th, 2026. So before we get started with the video, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Anybody that is interested in comic books, for all comic book content on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe, hit that like button. We're growing, trying to get our way to 30 subscribers, and we're almost there. I think we're at 21 the last time I checked, but let's go ahead and get it started with the book that was most anticipated, I think, for a lot of people this week. Not necessarily for me, but it definitely blew my socks off. We have Superman, Spider-Man, the DC Marvel crossover. This is technically issue 1, but it's a one-shot. It was a really solid book. I enjoyed a lot of stories in this little DC Marvel crossover event. It was much better, in my opinion, than the Deadpool Batman one. And in this story, we have Superman and Spider-Man that have, apparently, it seemed like they knew each other for a very long period of time. And this felt really good, like a classic Bronze Age story. We saw Doc Ock fighting against Superman, Brainiac fighting against Spider-Man, which is kind of what I expected. You expected the villains to be fighting their other heroes from the different universe, and the same thing vice versa. It was a really solid story. I enjoyed it. I think Mark Waid did a tremendous job at kind of having Doc Ock be a little more human, of course, than Brainiac, because he's the human, of course, which makes a lot of sense. I really enjoyed it. The other stories that were good, I thought the World's Finest story with MJ and Lois Lane was really good. They kind of poked fun at kind of just their history and how that they have very similar stories of their love life, of their background, how they had powers and then they lost powers. And just their whole history together has been very similar, even though they're for two different publications. I enjoyed the Superboy Prime with Amazing Spider-Man. I thought that one was very solid. I thought the weakest story was probably the Superboy and Spider-Man 2099. I just didn't enjoy it too much. I thought it could have been a lot better. The John Kent, Ben Parker one was okay. The Jimmy Olsen Carnage one was one of my favorites. So good. I really enjoyed it. Jimmy Olsen was trying to get this great shot of Spider-Man, and people told him, don't go into dark alleys. And by the way, Spider-Man, he's just red, little gooey webs everywhere. And so when Jimmy Olsen saw Carnage, he presumed that was Spider-Man. And then, yeah, it kind of went pretty bad. He had to watch the Superman signal watch. We see him using it right there in this panel over here. And then he's like, I'm Superman's pal Jim. Oh, firmware updating. Oh, fuck. And then J. Jonah Jameson being like, I don't care whoever says it, but Jimmy Olsen was the best comic or best photographer of all time. And he basically died getting a shot of Carnage. Like I said, the Kent and Jonathan Kent and Ben Parker was really solid. I enjoyed the little Bugle versus Daily Planet one. I thought that was a solid issue that kind of tackles a lot of the ethical questions around journalism, kind of what the stuff that we're dealing with today in today's day and age. Then the Power Girl and Punisher little date comic at the end was very solid. I know it was $8, but it's worth it. This was a really good crossover. I really enjoyed it. And I think that Superman, Spider-Man, this little crossover event was really fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's definitely a buy for me. If you have $8 to spare, I understand $8 is a lot for one comic, but I think it's worth it. A book that is getting a new jumping on point for this week is The Flash, issue number 31. I enjoy the team of Ryan North and I heard it was Guidry? I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say his name. But we see Wally West in this issue talking to his family with Linda West. Linda, I kind of forget what her full name is. Anyways, we meet Wally's family. We see more of his family. We see that he doesn't really understand a whole lot of the scientific side of what he does for a living as a superhero. But he appreciates it and he's like, this is really cool. I really enjoy everything. And then later on in the issue, we see Wally goes to save this woman who's about to jump off of a really tall roof. And he captures her. And then a couple seconds later, another woman jumps off another roof. So he's like, this can't be a coincidence. What's going on? And apparently there's this person on the internet that is paying people to commit these extremely dangerous acts, and you see Wally kind of going absolutely insane because he's having to go all over Central City, track all these different people, and they're all trying to die because they're getting paid to do these. And he finally tracks down the person that owns this company. It's Robbie Eves. And when he gets there, he's like, you can't get mad at me. I'm just doing this, and there's no legality around it, something like that. It's profitable. I don't care. But then we find out that he's not really the one that is supplying all the money for this. It's somebody else, as somebody creeps up behind him and says, we're moving to phase 2, spin up some new servers, we're bumping the prize pool by 200%, and we're taking Central City to a whole new level of chaos, hence the next level kind of segment coming up for DC. So this was really solid. The Flash, issue number 31, I am buying into that. Really good. I enjoy Ryan North's writing. I think he's going to kill it with Wally West and The Flash. Comic that was different than every other one this week. We have Feral. This is issue number 21, and I say it's different than every other book because it is a silent issue. There is no words, no actual words being said that have a text box in this comic book. You are getting to experience it through the cat that is named Ghost, who is hearing impaired, essentially deaf. They can't hear anything, so we're getting it from their perspective, as this is going to be a brand new arc. This issue is titled Ghost Story because that's who we're following. And we see the cats. They got collected by the CDC or animal control, whatever it is. And now they're all in cages, locked up in this middle school because everybody has abandoned this town due to the rabies outbreak. And we see Moosh, I believe that's how you pronounce it, absolutely go ballistic on one of the workers of this animal control facility. And they hook him up and they lock him up, and he has a chance to get euthanized. I say chance because you'll see what happens at the end of this comic book. But then Ghost escaped because Moosh knocked over his crate accidentally. Ghost escapes and he goes climbing and investigating throughout this middle school. And we see that there is a ton of testing going on. Human and animal, both are getting tested on. Really interested to see where this is going to go. Tony Fleek's doing a great job. If you read into those little emails in the background there, you can kind of see that they're doing human trials. There's a CDC district office giving staffing requests, poor conditions, so many different topics that they're going through in this comic book. And then you see a dog that looks absolutely frightened, and you see him getting put down, and it's so sad. I mean, if you've ever had to experience that as a human, to have an animal that is at that stage of life where they need to have that done to them, it's such a sad and traumatic experience, and it's a hard life experience. And to see a dog be dragged through, who looked like he was in good condition, it didn't look like he had rabies, to just be put down with a syringe because they might be doing testing on him. So sad. And the expression on Ghost's face is so sad. He's like, oh my god, what is that? What are they doing? Yeah, it was really tough to read this. But then we see Ghost finds Moosh, and he sees that he is next to potentially be euthanized. And then at the very end, this is a spoiler if you don't want to get spoiled, go ahead and just fast forward about 30 seconds. We get a stray dog crossover. If you ever read that comic, I highly recommend. If you haven't read that comic, I highly recommend that you do get it. If you have read it, you know that's a really cool Easter egg. Maybe the stray dogs are coming into Feral, but Feral issue number 21, that's another buy for me. Easy, so good. The fact that it was a completely silent issue of a comic book, and you felt the just awareness of the character of Ghost, the intensity through the page. I was sitting at the edge of my seat reading this, and you're not even reading it, you're just watching it. It was so good. Tony Fleek's Feral, such a great job, such a great comic book. I can't wait to read more with this next arc that is about to kick off. Next, we go back to DC. We have Justice League issue number 17. And this is titled Villain Amnesty Starts Here. I think I've kind of not been saying how much all these books are. This is a 36-page comic for $4. All the other ones are about $32, or 32 pages with $4. Flash and Feral are. And then the Superman crossover event. That was 72 pages for $8. So you're getting a good bang for your buck there. But this issue of JLU follows the topic of the villains who were kind of thrown away during the DC KO event because they were worried, the heroes were worried that the villains will use this as an opportunity to rise up and try to gain power, when in reality they wanted to defend their home planet as well. So we see that all the heroes and villains all get knocked back from the DC KO event. Lobo, Supergirl, Red Hood, Robin, Demon, all these different people, Bad Barda. And then you kind of get an interlook into what is going on in the heads of all the people that came from this event. Aquaman, Shazam, these different visions that they saw. They are really, even Cyborg, they are definitely impacted very hard by the visions that they were seeing from this DC KO tournament. And everybody's asking the question, where is Superman? Where is he? What are we going to do next? What is this? What is that? Blah, 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 blah. And Batman and Wonder Woman are like, we don't know. We just have to do what we think would be best for everybody. And, you know, not everybody's going to like that. But Wonder Woman and Batman, they go to the Phantom Zone, and at the very end, they make the really tough decision to allow villains to join the JLU. You know it's going to go bad. You know it's going to obviously turn into a story arc where the villains turn on the heroes and whatnot. So JLU, issue number 17. For me personally, I've given it 17 issues. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to sell. It's just so obvious what's going to happen with this comic book. I can't read it. I can't spend $4 every month on it anymore. I'm sorry. It is a sell for me. Next, potentially pick of the week. We have Superman, issue number 36. So good. Joshua Williamson absolutely killed it. 32 pages for this comic book, $5. We are legacy number 879. We are now 21 issues away from legacy number 900. We start this issue with Superboy Prime going crazy on the villain titled Ignition, and then we go back into the past to the Watchtower to where Superboy Prime is essentially living, and we see Lois and Mr. Terrific having basically test run on Lois Lane because we know that she became Superwoman again and then lost her powers. They're trying to find what is the trigger for why she has these moments happen to her, and they can't figure it out. And Lois is like, okay, it's whatever, I don't care. Mr. Terrific's like, okay, well, you got to take Superboy Prime because he can't live on the Watchtower because people still remember the past and what he did to all the people on Earth and just all the traumatic stuff that happened. So she's like, okay, you have to get a job. You have to do something. You can come work at the Daily Planet. And then Superboy Prime's like, well, I think that'd be a little obvious because I look exactly like Clark Kent. So then we go back to that fight that started at the very beginning of this issue with Superboy Prime and Ignition. And we realize that, oh my gosh, Superboy Prime is literally whooping him so badly. And he kills him. But then you're like, oh, wait. It's actually starting to fade away back into the sketches of what it looks like whenever they are originally creating a comic, because Superboy Prime has that ability to break the fourth wall, and he's read all these comic book characters and he knows their backstories, and that kind of puts a lot of people off of him, a lot of heroes and villains. But they realize that this could be used to their advantage, some villains. So we see Superboy Prime not kill him, be a good person. Think like Superman. That's what Lois was telling him the entire time. So he gets a job at a comic book shop, and he eventually gets his own apartment. Lois helps him move in. And this whole comic book was so good. It makes you feel like, I wish that I was Superboy Prime, because he loves comics, has superpowers, does all these super cool things. And then we get who we're going to be, and then we get revealed who's going to be the villain for this little arc. And it looks like it's going to be Manchester Black, British invasion, whatever you want to say. But Superman, issue number 36. I mean, this is easily a buy. Joshua Williamson absolutely killing it right now. One of the best books of the week. I would not be surprised if it ends up as my pick of the week. But guys, if you made it this far through the episode or through the video, please go ahead, like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends. Let me know what your favorite comic book has been so far this week, what books you are buying and or selling. And guys, remember, keep reading those comics, keep reading them panel by panel, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day.